Get Rick Barry out here. I don't know if he knows about Gucci's or anything like that. Rick Barry, the Hall of Famer, NBA champ with the Golden State Warriors back in 1975, joins your morning roast once again. Rick, off the cuff, before we even bring up basketball, are you a Gucci fan? Are you a fan of Gucci shoes or anything with Gucci? Does your wife like Gucci? What are your thoughts on Gucci?
I'm not into name stuff like that at all, but the movie was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, there you go. I don't blame you for not liking name brand stuff. I'm kind of like you, Rick. I don't do the Gucci, the Prada, the Louis Vuitton, or anything like that. But over the weekend, you said something that caught our attention here, and a lot of Warrior fans want to hear about it. They're up 2-0 on the Denver Nuggets, but you believed, Rick, going into the series that this was not a championship caliber basketball team right now with the personnel that they have. They need to bring in more people into the equation, but they do have a good nucleus to do that. So after 2 games against the Denver Nuggets, are your thoughts the same about this team not necessarily being ready for a championship? Maybe they're a year away.
Yeah, I still feel the same way. I mean, I think they have some difficulty depending upon who they wind up matching up against. I mean, they were fortunate in the game last night. I thought they played well again, but they got out-rebounded. 17 offensive rebounds, which kept Denver in the game for a while. But that can cause a real problem for you. And they were fortunate enough that they shot over 40-something%, 45 and 42, I think it was, in the 2 games from three-point range. I mean, that's not necessarily something that's going to happen all the time. You can't just live and die with the three-point shot. Right now things are going well for them. They're playing good basketball. Their defense has gotten back to the way it was earlier in the season when they were doing a good job with the rotations. I thought they played 2 very good basketball games. They were fortunate yesterday because I think the way that they started out and doing it, had they been in Denver, it could have been a different story. Being at home with the fans and being able to get back into the game and getting a couple of those really big runs to get themselves back in the game and then to blow it open. They were very, very fortunate, but they played well. I mean, they had their 3 main three-point shooters all shot the ball exceptionally well. Their defense was good, and they outscored them outshot them from 2-point range and also from 3-point range in both games. They did a better job rebounding in the first game, but if they give 17 offensive rebounds up in Denver and don't shoot the ball as well, they're going to have some difficulty. But I don't know why everybody gets so excited. What's happened is I'm excited about the fact that they played good basketball, but they only did what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to win the home games. Now they have to go up and play and try to get a win. And please don't ever use the word steal. When I hear anybody, a former player, say when they go steal a win, I mean, I never stole anything in my life playing. You earn everything that you get in pro sports, okay? You might get some gifts from the other team, but you're never stealing anything. They want to go up and try to get a victory up there, because then they can come and control the series if they get a victory up in Denver. But this is what's supposed to happen. You win your home games, and it's more on Denver now. Denver's got to find a way to beat Golden State at Golden State in order to be able to win this particular round. And so that's just the way that it works. And Denver is the one that has to come through with a big game, and game number 3 coming up in a couple of days. And if they don't get the victory there, the Warriors will be in control. And it's a good thing, have momentum going into the next round. But it's all going to depend upon the matchups and who they wind up playing against. If they play at this level, they can continue to progress and go through the playoffs. But I don't know if they can win a championship with this team playing the way they play, especially with the small ball.
Well, Rick, expand on that, because to me, I have tremendous respect for you, Rick. You know that. I've told you many times. You're my dad's favorite player. I used to listen to you growing up, but I'm so encouraged after what I saw last night, and to hear you kind of douse some cold water on my hot fire today, I'm a little sad. Why don't you think they can win a championship even going small ball at times? Because the numbers speak for themselves. They're extremely efficient, and they're blowing teams out of the water with the small ball lineup.
I didn't say they can't. I said I don't think they will. There's a big difference between the two. Anything can happen. Hey, you're talking to somebody who pulled off the biggest upset with my teammates in the history of the NBA, okay, in the finals. So It can happen. There's no doubt that it can happen. But is it realistic to think that it's going to be able to happen against some of the other teams, and depending upon who they match up against? I mean, they're also, just think about this, they're playing Denver with 2 of their best players out.
No doubt.
That's true.
No doubt. You're supposed to win.
No doubt. Rick Barry here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. So what matchup would worry you moving forward?
Yes.
If they get past Denver? Because I don't like to jump ahead, Rick. I'm not one of those guys that say, oh, well, if they play so-and-so. But
I can't. I have to start interrupting. I can't answer that kind of question. I don't have a crystal ball.
Well, what about Jordan Poole, Rick?
No, I would bet on the games if I really knew that much about it. I wouldn't bet a nickel on a basketball game. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen. That's the nature of sports. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, what about this three-guard lineup? How would you defend it with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Jordan Poole combining for 84 points last night? As you mentioned, they played really well, 13 to 28 from the three-point line from that trio, 31 to 52 from the floor from those three guys. If you're Mike Malone, Rick, how would you try to counter that lineup?
Well, it's hard to try to counter that one. We got three guys who are great shooters. So you have to play well. You can't let guys get open. You have to play up on them, make them go in, make them shoot the mid-range shot. Try to force them to not get good open looks. I mean, Klay was struggling a little bit with his three early. Then he finally got his feet set, and he knocked a few of them down. I mean, there's a big difference. If you're on him and you've got pressure on him and he doesn't get his feet set, he's not going to be as good a shooter as he normally would be. But, you just have to not give them good open looks. You got to be challenging them all the time. And you have to hope, and pray that, hey, maybe they're going to have off-game shooting. I mean, it was the same way when KD was here. Had the three guys there. You didn't have Poole, but you had KD. I mean, if all three of those guys are shooting well, your chances of beating that team were pretty slim because they could do everything, mid-range, three-pointers, good free-throw shooters, can get to the basket and finish. These guys are doing a similar type of thing, but they just don't have the same kind of size. I mean, you got KD, who is a 7-footer, basically. I mean, so he creates all kinds of matchup problems. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in game number 3 and see how well the team plays. I'm encouraged by it. I thought, with Steph coming back again, a miraculous thing. I mean, the way what he's done in 2 games after being out that much time, I don't know if people understand just how incredible that
Rick,
is.
Did you hear that number? He scored 34 points last night in 23 minutes. He's the first player since the NBA merger to score 30-plus points in a playoff game in 23 minutes or less. That's insane.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. The guy's incredible. I just love watching him play because he has so much fun playing. He's such a good guy. And he's a marvel. I mean, he's so unique. I mean, you want to talk about, I call people anomalies. I mean, there's never been a player like Steph Curry playing in the NBA. He's just so much fun to watch. And so there were a lot of factors. If Steph can come back and play at the level that he was capable of playing, he's doing that. Yeah. And looks like Klay's playing well, Poole is playing well. If they can continue to play at that level, yes, they have a chance against anyone. There's no doubt about it, even though they have a problem size-wise and all. But you just don't want to be giving up 17 offensive rebounds at one point. I mean, there's a lot of points that help Denver stay in the game. But, again, their best player has not had a good game shooting.
No.
He hasn't made a three-point shot.
Well, he hasn't been good shooting from three since March 1st. Bonta's told us that, he was shooting 21% from three since March 1st heading into this game. He's got dead legs. I want to get into the Nuggets themselves, though, Rick. When you see GP2 smack Jokic on the butt a little, I thought it was just, respect thing. He got real sensitive over it. You see the infighting from the Denver Nuggets. What's your perspective on those things?
Well, I mean, they're struggling. I mean, they've been fighting all season long. They don't have 2 of their best players. Jokic is struggling some shooting the basketball. I mean, when a guy has to take as many shots as he's taking to score that many points, that's a good thing for your team. And so, they're a little bit on edge. I mean, they know now that their work is cut out for them. They were hoping to come here and get 1 victory, and now they got themselves kicked in the butt twice. And even started out with a nice, come out ahead. Jokic was scoring double figures, very quickly. They had a nice double-digit lead at one point, and they had nice leads a couple of times. And they know they got a real problem trying to win 1 game at Golden State, so now they have to go home and try to take care of business there. So they're definitely, as they say, the proverbial old cliche, their backs are to the wall. I mean, it really is a situation. They have to win game. They have to win game number 3. If they don't win game number 3, it's all over.
Yeah, it'll be a sweep. Are you out there in Denver, Colorado still, Rick? Are you out there in the Colorado area? You going to check out a game?
No, I only spend the spring, summer, and early fall in Colorado. Otherwise, I'm actually in Florida. I'm a Florida resident. Spend most of my time in Florida. I got to get out of the snow, and then I get out of here before it gets too hot and humid. But I'm very encouraged. So don't get down.
No, we don't. We won't. We're happy right now, Rick.
Good. Well, hey, what we saw was better than I anticipated.
There you go.
The way they were playing, they were not playing good basketball.
They were not.
What are you going to do for fun today, Rick?
Huh?
What are you going to do for fun today?
Well, I usually play pickleball, but I played pickleball yesterday, and I'm getting ready to play in the U.S. Open again this year, next week down at Naples, Florida. That's my big thing. I have a company called Pickleball Connections, and people can check that out. Go to mypickleballconnections.com/Rick, and you can get a chance to join up and be a part of what I'm doing in the world of pickleball. Again, mypickleballconnections.com/Rick. Pretty cool. I love it. You have to have a passion in life. I was doing long driving in golf and have competition, and now I do it in pickleball. And so I'm lucky enough to win a couple of World Senior titles and U.S. Open, U.S. Pickleball National Championships and a couple of U.S. Opens last year. So I'm trying to keep the streak alive and win some more titles this year.
Well, you know what? That trophy case is filled up, Rick. Well, you know you got a lot of trophies. Larry Scott, I read it too yesterday, the former commissioner of the Pac-12, was with Chris Mullen. And I didn't know Larry Scott was a big pickleball player. Mullen does it a little bit as well. So pickleball's growing up, man. I didn't realize that was a sport that was exploding across the states.
Fastest growing sport in the country. Somebody said it may be fastest growing sport in the world, and I'm involved with a few things. So let me get a quick couple plugs. Medicaleaf, MEDICILEAF, Medicaleaf.com. Number 24 is the code to get a great discount on cannabinoid products that I use every day. And then also Go Sleeves down there in the Bay Area, Go Sleeves, SLEEVES.com. And it's RB24 is the code there to get yourself a nice discount for some great stuff for knees and calves and Achilles and elbows and all kinds of fun stuff with kinesio tape, actually kinesio stuff built into the actual sleeves. Pretty cool product. So I try to get there to get the Draymond and those guys over there, but I didn't even hear whether or not those guys even gave it to him. A little disappointed.
You got to run it by Dr. Rick Celebrini, Rick.
Or get on his podcast.
Who's that?
I said, or you can get on, Draymond's podcast. I think you'd be a great guest.
Yeah, well, anyway, it is what it is. I just try to help out, but I'm always, rooting for the Warriors and hoping they do well. And I'm encouraged by what I've seen. Can they sustain it? Let's see what happens.
Rick, before we get you off, have you watched the show Winning Time on HBO?
I'm going to tell you something. Those people should be ashamed of themselves that did that thing. The way they're portraying almost everybody on the show in such sensationalism, such BS. I mean, I know, Jerry West. Oh, my God, they're crucifying Jerry West.
Apparently you were in the last episode.
But I heard somebody said that I was in the thing. I hadn't seen I only saw the first few episodes. I haven't seen the latest episode, but it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic what they're doing there and getting away with in the front saying this is a dramatization, whatever. It's horrible. I mean, and they should be embarrassed that they're portraying all of these people in such a negative fashion just for sensationalism. It's horrendous.
For fun, though, if you were to have an actor portray you, Clint Eastwood?
I actually know Clint. I've actually met Clint and know him pretty cool. I don't know, and I don't really care, to be perfectly honest.
Well, thanks, Rick.
Hey, Rick, we got to get you out to Chase Center, man, and come check out a playoff game. We got to do it, man. When you coming back out to the Bay Area?
Yeah, well, we'll see if maybe they get around. Maybe there's some reason they'll have me out there to do it. But I'm always pulling for them. I'm still waiting to get my tour of the facility. I've yet to see the entire facility and get a full tour.
Wait a minute.
But it's a great place.
You were sitting courtside this season. You were sitting courtside. You didn't get a full tour of the facility?
Yeah, no, I've sat next to Joe. It was nice enough to give me a seat there, and last time I was there. But I've never really seen the entire facility and all the stuff in the practice area. I haven't really seen it yet. So one of these days, maybe I'll have a chance to do that. But let's just hope that the Warriors continue to play at the level they're playing. They've got confidence right now, and they got their swagger back a little bit. So let's see if they can continue to do that and come away with at least one victory up in Denver, and then we can wait and see who they're going to beat in the next round and see what happens there. We can talk again sometime. No
doubt, Rick. We will definitely do it next round. Always a pleasure to have you on the roast. Take care, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, God bless. Take care, everybody.
All right, Rick Barry on the morning roast on 95.7 The Game.